So here I am back under the deck of the 19, chasing this same electrical issue I have with the starting of the boat. You know, you hit the key and you can hear the solenoid go click, but it's like the batteries are dead. And I've checked all my terminals, I've replaced the starter, I've replaced the batteries. I'm still getting the same thing. I've even cleaned the switch. And I came up with this idea that maybe there's something wrong with the switch. So what I went ahead and I did is I put my little meter here just on the buzzer to see when it makes a connection, because my theory is that I'm turning the switch too far and it's going click and it's just, you know, it's back to dead. So what I was in the process of doing is just checking everything as I went around. And I started off with the auxiliary, you know, and because this is a 4-way switch, and it worked fine. And then I went ahead and went on to the on, which I think you can hear that. That's on, but that should do that because the auxiliary's on. But yeah, I am kind of surprised about this. I mean, it does this. Now I don't know whether that's just a residual or not, but my main theory is that I turned the switch too far, and when it hits the ignition, maybe there's something not happening. But either way, I fooled around with this for enough. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to replace the switch. Probably about the third or fourth one I've had in here. I don't know what's up with them, but they definitely don't last forever. So I went out and I purchased myself a CHM-712-BP ignition switch, and that's a 4-way off of Amazon here. And I gotta say, I'm kind of impressed with the way it's built already. It seems a little more hossier than this one. It's basically the same design though. I mean, I can see it's all got the same exact positions. I do like how these are spread out a little more than these three were kind of grouped together. That may have been a little bit of me persuasion, but I think it's more to do with actually the way it was built. And I was just double checking to make sure all my terminals are exactly the same, in which they are, in which case this is the battery on this one, that's accessory, that's the run, and that's the start. Same goes for all these 4 here. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my wires off one grouping at a time, take a little sandpaper here. I'm going to clean up my ends real good. They have been, I don't know, 20 years I guess they've been in here, and most of this wiring came right out of a Home Depot. Desperate times. But, you know, it was wicked overkill. I mean, there's like a ground wire that runs back to a grounding block next to the motor, and for almost every accessory, which is just wicked overkill. But, as I said, I had bundles of wire, so I built an harness. But I'm going to go ahead and get started here and get this over with. Just finishing up tightening up my waterproof key, whatever they call that thing, cover. It does come with this nice little pretty ring, which I will be saving, along with this older trim ring, because you never know what you need them for. And oddly, they don't come in all these keys, and if I don't have one, it won't cover the hole. So I keep these just in case, anything of use, including this guy, which I was looking at. I'm going to go ahead and strip some parts off of it, and I thought I was going to save it until I noticed this. This here is the accessory. this here is the ignition. If you look real close, that one's actually touching this one. So whenever I was just out there sitting out there with like the radio on or what have you, the actual ignition switch was still on. It was backfeeding it through this way because technically that piece was supposed to be over there. That's why the other one looks a little different. And the center piece that's supposed to be here, that little plastic piece, is not there. So it just came right over, sat right on the side of it, and has been backfeeding everything. Every time I'm listening to the radio, what have you, it's just got the ignition on. And lucky I've got an MSD box, and I know y'all would be like, oh my god, it should have burned up, but it's still going. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Here I am. I've got my key switch in. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to test for continuity, which so far has been so good. But there's really not a whole lot else I can do today. It's a little bit windy and now it's low tide, so we're kind of screwed. And with that noticed right off the bat, this was an automatic upgrade and a plus, whether I needed it or not. You know, it's like the old song, sometimes you don't get what you want, you get what you need. Well, maybe we can get what we wanted and what we needed at the same time, because I'm chasing ghosts in the machine right now. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I went down to the boat ramp last time, hit the key 3 or 4, 5, 6 times, just went click, 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 click. And as I said, I thought maybe it's got like a dead spot in the switch and you take it too far. I don't know. My continuity test, it didn't show that. But it definitely didn't show this either, which, you know, this is bad for my ignition system. I mean, it's really bad. So, as I said, this is all a plus. Moving on to the next thing. One of the prettiest days we've had in the last 45 happens to be a late fall November day. And we've reached a whopping 70 degrees. And people are doing what they can, and I am too. Which brings me to this. Got the cords out, got the tools out, got the dryers out. It's time to put some boats away. Alright. I winterize a little different than most. It's real easy for me. I don't have all these elaborate hookups with, you know, pumping out all this kind of antifreeze everywhere and all that good stuff. I basically just drain everything. Religious about flushing the motor. Every time it comes back, it doesn't get the cover put back on until it's flushed. And I don't know, about 20 years ago, I did it the other way, and with the antifreeze and all that good stuff, and something happened. One of the manifolds didn't get enough or what have you. It cracked it, and I went ahead and I got on iBoats way back in the day, and I was talking to this Volvo mechanic in Alaska, and I was like, hey, by the way, what do you guys do up there? And he's like, we just drain everything. Flush and drain. Now, some people will use a salt away or something of that nature, but that's all cool. But as I said, I live in a brackish water area, and as I said, I'm religious about flushing, so I'm not so worried about salt. But they said if they, you know, antifreezed everything up there, they'd have to bring it in by the shipload. So the best way to do it, after all those fishing boats are done for the season, they just drain out their, you know, their exchangers and all that good stuff and put them away. So that's what I'm going to do, and something that's been working for me for about 20 years now. So I can make you all watch this, or I could do this. I think I need some paint on that motor mount down there, but as you can see, it's peeing nice and clean and strong. A couple final sprays on the carburetor, and I think I'm all set here. And with that, we also went ahead and pulled all our block drains and got them put back in our little baggie right here, ready for springtime. And I think we're all set at the moment. Went ahead and opened up a hatch, got my dryer in place, that way there's a circulation from the motor box up through the center of the boat, and got my support pole in place. Time to put the cover on. Sad time. All right, we got one cover on and ready to go. Got another cover partially off of the Beezy over here. Got our dryer down there. A little hard to see, but there it is. Made sure we keep our cords out of any drainage areas so they don't get wet. And that's pretty much a done deal. Time to move on to number 3. And no, we couldn't forget about our little Tohatsu on our green pearl here. It's flushed as religiously as the rest of them are, so it's pretty much good to go. And we always run Sta-Ball in the fuel because you never know. I mean, this thing uses so little gas. Sometimes we have it for 2 seasons. It just depends on the weather and what's available and the crabbing and all that good stuff. It's been a icky fall, I can see that. We've had so much rain, it's been ridiculous. And then we had August, which of course is a, third month, wettest month ever on record around here. So yeah, it's not been pleasant, that's for sure. Thinking I'm gonna need a new bow top, but I need to get this heater in here because it's gonna be dark shortly. This year I'll be running 2 dryers in the 24, just because I got them. People in their obsession with leaves around here is amazing. And we have water on one side and we're surrounded on the other 3 sides by basically forest. Every time the wind blows, it just goes right back in your yard. So we've given up, we just grind it in. Helps with the soil too. But just like that, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse here are all asleep, at least for a few months. And I gotta say, this year it's been on the verge of terrible. Nothing happened really. I mean, we went out a few times. We did some crabbing with the pearl here. We also took out the 19 a few times, did a parade, that kind of stuff. But overall, I mean, everything was shut down for the longest time anyway. We never got the 24 out. We did fix everything wrong with the Biesmeyer except for some cosmetic issues. That was a plus. I mean, we got some good stuff done. I mean, I even sold a Donzi over here, which is, there's the empty slot. I really just wanted to tell everybody who actually has been going along with this blog / whatever it happens to be. Thanks a lot, and I really do appreciate it. As where it goes from here, I'm not really sure. Nobody's saying anything about next year and the boat shows. I really wanted to do the boat show this year. I was going to do a whole series on it, and, you know, different people down there and the different boats. I mean, I could have created a whole separate series on what's there in just a few hours of taping. It's so cool down there. But like I said earlier this spring, they're talking about 2, 3, 4 year plans out. And I don't know. We'll see what happens next spring. But until then, as I said, I really do appreciate everybody's attention. This has been really fun to do. We'll pick back up on it in the spring here if we don't run across some periodic projects during the winter. I don't really have any big plans for anything because everything was kind of done during the summer. I mean, maybe a little things here and there, and the rest of it's really going to have to depend on the weather. I can't really fix up the cosmetics on the 24 here or the Biesmeyer or anything else if it's, you know, 30 degrees out and snow on the ground. Some of you people are really lucky you got garages when it's like that and you get to be able to do that. Really makes the winter pass by. So once again, I thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. So here I am back underneath the 19 yesterday. Oh, that shouldn't do that. That should do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my switch. Sorry. It didn't actually show that either. It didn't show. Yeah, let's do this again. It didn't show this either. And I got on. What was that? What am I going to say? I don't know what to say. Oh, we need to do the description. I have to wait for the plane. The one and only plane. It's flushed all the time anyway, and one down. This year, wait a second. We did fix a lot what was going on with the 19. We did fix a lot